Good morning and welcome to Wichita State's Weekly Briefing. My name is Andy McFadden. I'm the Executive Director of Strategic Communications at WSU Tech. These briefings are held in an effort to keep the campus and public better informed about the progress occurring at Wichita State. Following the university update and today's featured topic, there will be time for questions. For the first time in nearly 30 years, more than 16,000 students have enrolled for fall classes at Wichita State. The total headcount at WSU for the fall of 2019 is 16,058 students, an increase of 274 students, or 1.7%. Total student course credit hours are 165,903, an increase of 1%, which is the highest in WSU's history. The university's continued focus on its strategic enrollment plan has also led to increases in the following categories: undergraduate full-time enrollment, underrepresented minorities, undergraduate Hispanic students, out-of-state students, undergraduates from the I-35 corridor, online majors, and students choosing to live on campus. WSU Tech has achieved the highest enrollment in its history with a headcount of 4,920, a gain of 324 students, or an increase of 7%. WSU Tech also reported 43,525 credit hours, which is 1,834 more credit hours than last year, for an increase of 4.4%. Moving forward, WSU and WSU Tech will continue looking for implementing strategies that recruit, retain, and graduate more students to better meet industry workforce needs, the needs of our community, and to boost our region's economy. For more information on our enrollment numbers, visit wsu.news/enrollment 2019. On Wednesday, the university was pleased to welcome the U.S. Attorney General William Barr and Senator Jerry Moran to Shocker Nation. Attorney General Barr was here to tour the Law Enforcement Training Center and specifically the Gun Crime Intelligence Center, which is a collaboration between the U.S. government, WSU, and local law enforcement. There were also roundtable discussions involving representatives from the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, and Firearms, Wichita Police Department, Sedgwick County Sheriff's Office, the Kansas Association of Chiefs of Police, and others. This visit and the underlying investment of federal and local resources into our campus and to address crime prevention highlight the value of the growing number of partnerships LETC continues to generate. And finally, a quick reminder that WSU's Open House Weekend happens this Friday through Sunday, starting with tomorrow's signature event, Sip and See, at 5:30, and a 6 p.m. dedication of the John Bardo Center, with remarks by President Tompkins and Senator Jerry Moran. Here's a little teaser video of what's in store. We hope everyone comes out and enjoys the events, activities, and amenities that campus offers. For a full list of events, visit wichita.edu/open house. And now I'd like to introduce our featured speaker, Dr. Dennis Livesay, Dean of the College of Engineering.
Thank you, Andy. Hello, everyone. Pleasure to be here again. So one of the best parts of my job is I get up here and talk about the good work of my colleagues, our colleagues. We have an amazing faculty and staff, and it's wonderful to get up and sing their praises. But before I do, I want to just quickly mention how proud the College of Engineering is, how proud I am personally that our sort of marquee building, the Experiential Engineering Building, is being named after late President Bardo. And I couldn't imagine a more fitting tribute to his legacy, and we're proud to be part of that. I'm going to start off with a little bit of old news, but it's news that I never get in front of people and don't talk about. The canonical rankings of graduate programs is done by U.S. News and World Report. And what you may not know is that the College of Engineering at Wichita State is ranked in the top 100 engineering graduate programs in the country. Top 100. And when you look at the rankings that we're tied with, and based on the way the numericals, you get a lot of groups that are tied together, we're tied with flagship universities. Our flagship university to the north, KU, Nebraska, Mizzou, South Carolina, Kentucky, Mississippi State. These are all the flagship universities of these states. The only one that we're tied with that's not a flagship university is the University of Miami, which is sort of the quintessential urban serving university. And we are, point out, significantly ranked higher than our land-grant colleagues to the north in Manhattan. So people don't always realize how great our engineering programs are, and this is a further testament of what we're doing. Very exciting. I'm sort of putting the cart before the horse yet because it's not officially approved, but we have a biomedical PhD program which will contribute to our engineering graduate programs coming soon. It's been approved at KBOR through the president's levels and will go to the full board next month. We don't see any challenge there, and so we're very excited to offer a fifth PhD program in biomedical engineering. Fifth PhD program in our college, it being in biomedical. We have a lot of expertise in manufacturing. We have a lot of expertise in materials and structures. A lot of that's couched within aerospace. But times are changing, and every discipline is becoming a digital discipline. And so over the past couple of years, we've really focused hard on improving our work in data analytics, and at some other point I'll get up here and talk about that, but also in cybersecurity. And in just short order, we had sort of a string of successes in cybersecurity that it was over a period of about 2 weeks that I really thought we should highlight what we've done. First and foremost, and I apologize if you can't read this, we are now named a National Center for Academic Excellence in Cyber Defense Education. This was a long and drawn-out process for us, but we were approved and is a real flag, a real feather in our cap, let's put it that way. This is not something that they just give out to everyone, and really highlights how well our programs are being reviewed nationally. To sort of to be the nucleating force of our efforts, we've created something that we're calling Cyber Hub. And so Cyber Hub is technically called the Hub for Cybersecurity Education and Awareness. And we've hired Colonel Joe Jabara from the Red Team down south at McConnell to lead the Cyber Hub, and he's spearheading our efforts of working with industry to identify trainings and opportunities that we can do to help promote awareness about cybersecurity, training about cybersecurity, and move us forward. Our students, and I didn't even know that this was occurring, but our students competed in the National Cyber League competition, and so this is the pinnacle of cyber defense competitions intercollegiately. We finished 14th in our first year in the nation, and that's pretty impressive. And we finished first in the Central Division, which includes schools like the University of Illinois and other flagship schools that you've heard of. And so that's pretty impressive that we're ranked first in the Central Division in the country. And we're 14th of 419 participants. And so that sounds even more impressive when you think about that. And we're doing other things, and a lot of this is all around Dr. Sergio Salinas, who is one of our key experts in cybersecurity on the faculty. And recently he was featured within the Wichita Business Journal as a roundtable discussion talking about these things. Another real feather in our cap that we're pretty proud of, and again, this was thought to be a couple-year effort, but we actually got it the first go-round. We were sort of surprised, but we received an NSF Catalyst grant. And so NSF Catalyst grants are for catalyzing parity in the professoriate within specifically women and underrepresented minorities. And Dr. Jan Toomey, who's Associate Dean of the College of Engineering, as well as some colleagues from the College of Liberal Arts and Sciences, put together a proposal that we were able to secure this, and so we're working hard to increase parity within our faculty. Actually, let me go back and briefly say something about this. We've done a lot of work in growing diversity. And everything that I'm going to talk through the end of the presentation is about what we've done and the successes we've had with our student population. And if we take our biomedical engineering undergraduate program, it's 55% women, which for an engineering program is really, really impressive. Unfortunately, there aren't any women in the faculty of that department. And that's a miss for us, and we need to do better. And as I was talking to the chair about this, I asked the chair, and he said, well, we've been trying, but there just haven't been many women in the pool. And we went back and looked, and he was right. And so this grant and our efforts are meant to increase the diversity within the pool, and how do we be more competitive? And so I'm asking actually every department to come up with a diversity plan up front ahead of the search. What are you going to do to enrich the pool? And then I want them to hire the best person at the end of the day and let the chips fall where they may. But so that's the things that we're trying to do. So at the student level, we all know that we're 47, 48% first generation. The numbers bounce around depending on what you're looking at. And that's a really high percentage. I'm a first generation student, and when I was a student, I didn't know what I didn't know. And I got here to this day, and standing in front of you as the Dean of Engineering, largely through dumb luck and following what others were doing, because I didn't know what to be looking for. And so a lot of first generation students have that challenge. And so we created a program that we call ACE, and it's a peer mentoring program. And the program is designed to match students with peers who are upper division so that they sort of know what support structures are out there for them. And ACE, when you look at across the college, if you compare the black and yellow bars there, the retention, fall to spring retention of freshmen, there's some statistically significant. If you put a t-test on it, it's significant, but it's small, it's 3 points, increase in retention. But if you stratify that data and you look at only the first gen students, you get something that is 17% increase in retention. So it's really having a very targeted impact to students that they're seeing and learning about things that they wouldn't have otherwise. So we're doubling down, and we're going to put some money behind this, and basically I'm going to bribe students to do all of the high impact activities that we think are important. And so to be engaged socially, to be engaged academically, to seek out help in our tutoring, our free tutoring service, to meet with our advisors regularly, and we're calling this First Strong. And it's a scholarship for first generation students with the expectation that they do these things, and they have frequent check-ins. And we're engineers, and we track everything. We love spreadsheets. We fill spreadsheets up with all sorts of data. And one of the things we do is we track everything that we do with students, and we try to measure what is the impact of that. And of all the high impact activities that we have, the one that has the biggest impact on retention is whether or not a student comes to Geeks, our free tutoring service, once. Because if they come once, they're going to come 15 times and get the help they need in their courses and be successful. And so this is something that we talk a lot about, and we encourage all our students to make sure that they come, even our best students, even our Wallace Scholars. And so most of you know that our Wallace Scholars are the premier engineering-specific scholarship on campus. Has been around for a long time. It's a legacy of Dwayne and Velma Wallace from the founders or the refounders of Cessna, and they have a big impact on campus here. And the Wallace Scholars are amazing students, but the diversity hasn't been what we'd like it to be. And we're doing some very simple tweaks. And so Wallace is a formal competition. There's an actual competition called WISE. And in the past, WISE was a build competition. Build a bridge with popsicle sticks or whatever raw materials we give you that will support a weight. And often what we would find is that the men students would sort of elbow their way in, take over, and dominate that. And as a consequence, the women were not necessarily given the fair chance that they needed to have. And so we changed the competition. And to change the competition where it's more abstract, we give students a set of raw materials, but the challenge that they have is far beyond any reasonable expectation of what you could do with those raw materials. But what we're judging is how do they talk through and discuss and come up with a plan of what they're going to do. We had to train the evaluators. It was hard for us to teach the evaluators what we're looking for. But as a consequence of that change in dynamic, in 1 year, we went from about 20%, 21% women Wallace scholars to 43% last year. And so I think it was 6 out of the 13, which is a pretty impressive 1-year change. And we went from 9% ethnically and racially diverse to 21%. So we're still not at parity. We're still not where we want to be. But these are the sort of things that we're doing to increase diversity. And the proof's in the pudding. And so if we look at how we're doing here, and when I put this slide together, I wasn't able to talk about 2019 data, but this is all 2018 data. The college has grown between 2011 and 2018 about 30%. In fact, if we look at the college growth between 11 and 19, it's closer to 50% in enrollment. So huge gains. Our women gains and our Hispanic gains far outpace that. And so the numbers in the parentheses are simply the ratio of the gains within those strata versus what we did as a college. And so we're growing significantly in these areas. So we're having good success. African American students, we are up 43%, but we're just up a little bit over what the colleges gained. And in fact, if you put in the 2019 data, that ratio, that quotient goes below 1. It's still a big increase, but we still have some work to do there. And if you look at what we're doing with Native American students, we have a long way to go. It's up a little bit, but it's not up anywhere near where the college is up. So we're doing well, but we're not blinded by the fact that we're doing well. We have some work to do in other areas as well. The stat that I'm the most proud of this year is that we're up over 50 women students year over year, 13% increase over last year of women students in the College of Engineering. And so with that, I think I will end. Actually, no. I want to tell you, this is something I wasn't planning on talking about, but I was at Lockheed Martin yesterday. And I was meeting with all of the direct reports to the VP of Engineering. And we're basically showing them all the great things about WSU. And we had done a really good job of wowing them and convincing them that WSU needs to be one of their Tier 1 institutions. So the deputy vice president was giving us a tour of the F-35 line, golf cart tour. And we're seeing this, and he stops, and he's talking to someone. And it just so happens that that person had a WSU intern last year. And he sang the praises. This kid's name is Ruben Reyes. If Ruben's watching, I've already reached out to him. Congratulations and thank you. They sang the praises of him, said he ran circles around their mechanical engineers, and he was talking about their full-time employee mechanical engineers. He's actually an aerospace engineering student, and was one of the best interns they've ever had, and they have to hire him. Totally unscripted, totally spontaneous, but it highlights the successes of what we do here, and makes me very proud to be able to absorb or relay some of that good news. So I'm happy to answer any questions. No? All right.
Thank you, Dr. Livesay. At this time, I'd like to take any questions on any of the updates that you may have. For those I'm unable to answer, please follow up with Joe Kleinsasser. Any questions? Okay, there's no more questions. I'd like to remind you about WSU's vision and mission: to be internationally recognized as the model for applied learning and research, and to be an essential educational, cultural, and economic driver for Kansas and the greater public good. Thank you for coming to today's briefing. The next briefing will be held at 10 a.m. on Thursday, October 10th.